Once you have a good relationship with yourself, you become great company for others. The problem is that we want to have good company. And to be good company without first having made the first move towards love, which is to acknowledge who you are, a process of self-understanding, of self-knowledge that gives you the strength to overcome, to remove obstacles from your path, because life always has obstacles. Sometimes we have the illusion of thinking that other people's lives are perfect, don't we? It's because we live in a society that is increasingly strange, in which we have a need to show others a joy that we don't have, a happiness that was never ours. We make a point of showing what we have achieved materially. It's a strange movement, right? I don't know if this seems strange to you, but there are people who take great pleasure in having. No, because do material goods give you any satisfaction? Personal, intimate, not satisfaction. It comes down to having something to show that you have it. Traveling to show that you have traveled. If you had the opportunity one day to be on stage, as you do most of the time, I could be seeing the crowd in front of me. How do I see people not living in the present moment? It's an anxiety to film, to take pictures. Sometimes I pay attention to some people who spend the entire show with their heads turned to their cell phones. So we are living much more for others to see what we are living than necessarily for ourselves. How is it necessary? The experience of friendship that you need to have with yourself. Being your best friend, being the first to want the best for yourself. Sometimes we make mistakes here too. We want the other person to want the best for us, for the other person to do things for us all the time, for them to open the roads so that good things can happen in our lives. The other is a compliment. It is not fair to impose this burden on another because he needs to live his homework with him. I cannot take on anyone else's life. I am not in a position to take on other people's problems. I can help, but I cannot take on other people's problems as my own. Otherwise, I will turn them against me. I want to be an eternal helper. Helping, living to help. Now I want to have the humility to know how to say, this problem is yours, not mine. If you do not take control of your life, I cannot help you. It is like giving medicine to a sick person who has already decided to die. If the other person is not awake and aware of the efforts they need to make to achieve the operations they need to achieve, I cannot do it for them. So I need to have this awareness. The dimension of my life in which I walk alone. There are situations in which I have to face alone, no matter how much the other person says they are by my side. That's great. But I know that there are some lessons that I will never, ever learn in company. Then I know that I am a Christian like that. When do I discover the dimension of personal friendship that I need to have with myself? And then how much does this movement that has benefited me help me to benefit others? And then I identify. I have good friends. I have managed to have friends who influence me positively, who make me reach the best of myself. So I have already achieved some interesting things from Christian, accompanying a friend of mine, a personal problem. And that the crux of his problem is precisely his lack of respect for him. It's amazing that people like us are driven by mechanisms, sometimes unconscious. We always say that. Isn't that what psychology is for? To help us understand who we are? And we know that the unconscious, although it is unknown, is very active in our lives. So, many behaviors that we cannot explain why we have are associated with unconscious reasons. Is it possible to access the unconscious self? It has its limits, but it is. And the best way to access knowledge is through conversation. When do we put together the puzzle of our own history? It's amazing how we are all capable of living and putting together the puzzle of our history. But why don't we put together? Because we have the mania, the strange habit of not getting along with ourselves. We're always focused on others, excessively focused, and sometimes it's not even altruistic. Philanthropic and charitable impostures, right? We are always focused on others, in the sense of paying attention to what's happening outside of us. And we are very stimulated to do this, aren't we? We have a device in our hands that is constantly pushing us outward. And this device, it could also judge us internally, but it doesn't always do that. We don't always look on our cell phones. Internet profiles that help us think about our inner issues, to think a little about our lives. I've been using my Instagram a lot for this lately. At a certain point, my Instagram was very marked by humor, which actually attracted a lot of people a lot of people, and it's impressive how these people. My Instagram was very marked by humor, which, by the way, attracted a lot of people. But a lot of people. And it's amazing how these people who came because of the humor ended up also becoming interested in what I write, which is a very simple, unpretentious way, through a sentence of a short text, to provoke these people to enter and within the context of their needs. We are in great need of reflection, my people. We are too reactive. I've said it here so many times. Reactive, excessively reflective, too little, less and less interested in our issues, because the lives of others interest us so much. It's a crime, isn't it? I need to learn to live with myself. And the more I decipher my inner codes, the greater the capacity I have to articulate my truth, to have a more conscious behavior, to have more control over my emotions. And this friend I'm telling you about is going through a difficult time because he is his biggest obstacle. The lack of love that is lack of self-love triggers terrible choices that he knows will harm him, but he can't stop that choice. He can't think favorably like that. We are very, very adapted to this mechanism that throws us out, and that makes our experience of our own friendship difficult. I need to be my friend, and for me to be my friend, I need to know myself. For me to have attitudes that are favorable to me, I need to have control over my emotions. My emotions betray me all the time. It's amazing when I'm driven by anger. I harm myself. I make hasty decisions. In extremes, right? It's always dangerous to make decisions in extremes when we're too happy, when we're too sad. The middle ground? So, when I don't know how to deal with my emotions, I end up being an obstacle for myself. And sometimes we have the illusion that those who can destroy us are others, right? Of course people can harm us with what they say. Spoil consents, which they throw at us, with slander, with lies, with justice. But ultimately, I am the filter who will allow or not that evil that was judged against me and grow roots. Ultimately, we are the filter, and I, to be aware of this, need to live the experience of self-knowledge. Yes, the experience of self-knowledge. I don't reach my best. I don't discover where my strengths lie. For example, the person who needs to get rid of alcohol addiction. How will he deal with the addiction? Strengthening his will, strengthening his self-love. Observe how addiction grows in people who don't love themselves. How does the lack of self-love happen? Sometimes we grow up without self-love. Unfortunately, our parents don't always get it right with us, nor are the people who exert an emotional influence on us. They are wise enough to educate us. The thing is, it is an experience of self-love, or else we lose it throughout life. When we are not unable to manage our failures, we begin to reject ourselves. When you do not forgive yourself for the mistakes you have made, you begin to blame yourself for the mistakes you have made and in the horizon of guilt. Self-love is the first to pack its bags and leave, where there is an excessively massacred human being who blames us all in the sense. There is no way for us to get rid of guilt. What you need to be aware of the weight it takes on, and how much it is time for you to throw it away. Feeling guilty is a natural movement in human life. Now, accepting the condemnation that guilt brings us is already an exercise of choice. So, sometimes when I'm not able to forgive myself, I assimilate the feeling of guilt. I unconsciously assume destructive, self-destructive behaviors. So I sabotage myself all the time. I go and do everything wrong knowing that it will hurt me. Addiction is this. When I am not able to stop situations, realities, substances that intoxicate me, that kill me. I have said this a few times. The same thing that happens, the unhealthy relationship between a person and alcohol, can also happen between one person and another. In the same way that we become addicted to marijuana, cocaine, nicotine, alcohol, I can also become addicted to other people. And when I am addicted to another person, I become blind to perceive the paths to my liberation. So, for this reason, my people, that in the whole process of addiction, the first thing we're going to do is ask for help. Because in the same way that self-love was gone, it can come back. And how does it come back? When we are well influenced, when we surround ourselves with good people, when we get stuck, the accesses of people who can keep our visa that yes, that you can observe exist, people that we call friends, who have an enormous capacity to take us to that has an enormous capacity to lead us to addictions. So be careful. If you identify that person, they are toxic in your life because they reform you. They reinforce in you what is most fragile in you. It makes no sense to have this person in your story. It doesn't mean that you will despise them, that you will find someone, and not just that you will have the wisdom to not allow them to continue having influence over you. I don't want it anymore, so I block access. I will not allow that person to influence me negatively. And how do we replace them with a person who influences us positively? And there are many good people out there. There are many good people. There are many true Christians ready to be able to help us make self-love return to our hearts. So, how do you recover an alcoholic? By removing alcohol from their life. It would be so simple, right? It's not enough to deprive them of alcohol, because the moment they have access to it, they will drink. What we need to do is an emotional cleanse, and whoever does an emotional cleanse will gradually bring back love. Who is it that will create immunity? It is he who will give me the conditions to not continue opening up, lower my guard to situations, to people, to substances that intoxicate and kill me. My people, educate our desire. We can do this. I need to educate my desire. I need to desire good things. I need to refine my feelings more and more. Do you know the process of refinement? We were talking here before about people who are rich and have a nobility of soul. Are they refined? Just like you, a poor person, poor materially speaking, has a nobility of soul. You find nobility of soul in both the poor and in vehicles. Nobility of soul is when a desire has been educated to want what is noble. Is it gossip? No. Then I'm not interested. It won't be long before Avengers. I use the lives of others, so this subject doesn't interest me. Is it to destroy me? No, I don't want to. We are adopting a refined behavior. Educated, elegant. It is elegance of the soul, isn't it? Sometimes we are very concerned about the elegance of the body. We invest a lot in the elegance of our body. The clothes we're going to wear, the clothes we're going to party in, the clothes we're going to appear in public in. We have a special treatment, a whole concern for the way we are going to materially cover our body. But we forget that what shines in the end is the elegance of the soul. It is how much of our behavior has already been educated. Has it already been transformed into something good? It is us gradually transforming our way of being, our posture, our gestures, our words. This does so much good. And how good is it to realize that you have progressed, that you have evolved, that you have given up the petty feelings that previously dominated you, that you have adopted an elegant behavior? When we are angry, for example, no elegance is possible, neither the body nor the soul. It becomes all clumsy under the impulse of anger. There is, but when are we? Set it on ourselves. I have learned this a lot. I need to be in myself, be under my feet, entirely under my feet. I need to be where I am, live the moment that life is allowing me to live. Elegance. It is so inelegant for others to talk to us and for us to play with our cell phones, pretending to be paying attention. Isn't it elegant? Elegance. And when do you realize that you can be for others? Because you learn to be for yourself. We can only offer to others that which we have already achieved. So, the elegance that I offer others, the elegance of the soul, it is only possible to be offered because first, I nourish myself with thoughts, words, feelings, elegant ones that nourish the elegance of my behavior. So, all the time I experience being mine, I want good books, I want knowledge, I want good attitudes, I want good choices, because I am aware that the best of me is here, but not yet flowers. I am stimulated by those who surround me to make the best that is already in me, that was given to me by God, flourish, that I cannot give up, and for the love of Him. You know, my people, our Christianity, we identify the maturity that He brought us like this. When you are able to recognize that everything that life gave you through your work, the material result of your achievements, this does not change who you are. On the contrary, it makes you even more aware of your essence, of what He identifies in the world. It is your ability to be a friend, to want the best of the people who pass by you. Thank you very much for your company. Thank you for the affection, for the happy opportunity to once again enter your life. May you not lack awareness of perceiving what in your life needs to be changed so that the elegance of the soul may you not have the courage to risk your life on people and situations that do not favor you to grow and reach the ability to be a friend, to want the best for the people who pass by you. Thank you very much for your company. Thank you for your affection, for the happy opportunity to once again enter your life. May you not lack awareness to realize what in your life needs to be changed so that the elegance of the soul may occur. May you not have the courage to risk your life on people and situations that do not favor you to grow, to reach the best of yourself. May you not be afraid to live the confrontations that will allow you the inner freedom to say, this is what I want for myself, this is what I do not want, and may God bless you in this purpose. He wants Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Until next week, God willing.